memories of the way I was.
Get to the point, John girl.
My point is, Daddy man, what kind of memories do we want our brothers and sisters to have? Memories of servants and swimming pools and separate handkerchiefs? Yeah. Well, I think not.
Oh, thank you, John girl. That did it. That did it. Out, 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 you city pervert. Thank you, John girl, for waking me up.
You're welcome, Daddy man.
You said some mighty pretty words there, John girl.
Exactly what did I say?
Well, you were talking about without any clothes on.
Will everybody speak a little slower, please? And one at a time.
I'm first on the grandfather.
Good night, Mama woman.
Good night, John girl.
Night, Daddy man.
Night, John girl.
Night, Jeremiah girl.
Good night, John girl.
Night, Jasper girl.
Good night, John girl.
Good night, Eudora boy.
Good night, Joan girl.
Good night, Clorinda boy.
Good night, John girl.
Good night, Grandma lady.
Good night, John girl.
Good night, Joe Lynch. I spent most of my life in poverty after that, till I sold this series. And as I have matured and aged and withered, I have often thought back to that day and said to myself, John girl, what a bunch of dummies we were.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's Young People's Concert. How many of us are familiar with Peter and the Wolf? Oh. Peter and the Wolf is a concert piece designed to introduce the instruments of the orchestra to children's tiny minds. And it tells a story so that the children's tiny attention will not wander. We've been terribly concerned that no such work exists to introduce the various voices to the kiddies. So we've commissioned one, a new work for narrator, chorus, and 4 actors. And here it is. It's called Sarah and the Moose.
What you have just heard is called a chorus. A chorus is made up of basses who make the sound way down low in their chests, like this. And tenors who make the sound all the way up in their noses, like this. And altos who make the sound in their sinus cavities, like this. And sopranos. No one really knows where that sound comes from. Now, in our story, the basses will sing the theme of the moose, which sounds like this. Can't you just see his big furry nose and his big hairy ears? The altos sing the theme of Sarah, which goes like this. The tenors sing the theme of the forest ranger, which goes like this. And the sopranos sing the theme of Sarah's Aunt Fanny. Aunt Fanny has been sick and sounds like this. Doesn't that remind you of one of your sick aunts? Now, if you can remember those themes, we can start our story. One morning, Sarah woke up all trembly and excited because it was Saturday and there was no school. And besides, it was her birthday.
Me, 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 ah.
Under her pillow, there was the present she had wished for, a moose call. And off she ran to show it to her friend, the forest ranger.
That is the most beautiful moose call I ever did see,
said the forest ranger, his blue eyes a twinkle.
Let us call some mooses,
said Sarah. And she puffed up her cheeks and blew. But no moose answered.
Let me try it,
said the forest ranger, his blue eyes a-dancing, and he puffed up his cheeks and blew. And they waited.
Here, moose.
And they waited.
Here, moose, here, moose.
And then they heard footsteps. And more footsteps. And then suddenly, right behind them, a big footstep. And Sarah shouted.
That's no moose. That's my Aunt Fanny.
That is no way to call a moose.
Finally, said Aunt Fanny, who always knew better than anybody else.
Let me show you.
And Aunt Fanny, who could never let well enough alone, puffed up her cheeks and blew. Oh, goodness, Aunt Fanny has swallowed the moose call. And suddenly from the forest, the mating call was answered. And thundering out of the forest came a real live moose.
Oh, looky,
said Sarah. Said Aunt Fanny. Responded the moose.
Run!
Said the ranger, his blue eyes agog. And so they ran. But there isn't an auntie in the world who can outrun a really interested bull moose. And in hardly more than a trice, the moose caught Auntie. After dating for a while, they found a really meaningful relationship and had the wildest wedding the Elks Club has ever seen. Today in the forest, you can find the four of them, the forest ranger, Sarah, a quite contented moose, and his wife, the former Aunt Fanny. And that's the end of our story. Now, was wasn't that a painless way to learn all about voices? We shan't forget, shall we? Basses on the bottom, above them the tenors, above them the altos, and somewhere up there in seventh heaven, Aunt Fanny and the sopranos.
Be sure and be with us next week. Tim Conway will be with us. And remember, if we don't do something about pollution today, tomorrow may be too late. I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night. Thank you.
Played by Dick Patterson. The preceding program was recorded before a live audience.